Hi everyone, my name's Danielle Galuppi, and for the My Community in Words and Pictures project, I chose to research and talk about Quakertown Borough. Quakertown Borough is the town that I've called home for the majority of my life. It's located in Bucks County in the state of Pennsylvania. The photograph here depicts the town center of Quakertown, and on the next slide here, you see a map of Quakertown Borough. The area shaded in the light pinkish color is Quakertown Borough. And I'm showing you this map to give you a sense of the size of Quakertown. It is relatively small and only spans 2.02 square miles. Who are the residents of Quakertown Borough? As of 2018, there was an estimated 8,814 people that resided in Quakertown. Of the estimated population, there was approximately 48.5% males and 51.5% females. The median age of the residents is 39.9 years old. Now, looking at the pie chart depicting races in Quakertown, you can see that the town consists primarily of white Caucasians that account for 88% of the residents. The next largest race is Hispanics that account for 6% of the population, followed by African Americans that account for 2.3%. On this next slide, we look at additional quality of life information starting with crime in Quakertown. The chart is fascinating in that it compares crime rates by year, starting in 2009 and going to 2018. For purposes of this assignment, I'm going to review crime rates in 2018. In that year, there were 2 robberies, 3 rapes, 4 cases of arson, 5 auto thefts, 15 burglaries, 33 assaults, and 122 thefts. When looking at the crime index, Quakertown has a 182.8 average, which is below the U.S. average of 274, meaning Quakertown has less crime than the national average. As of 2018, there were 18 full-time law enforcement employees for Quakertown Borough. In Quakertown, there is one public high school, Quakertown Community High School, that consists of about 1,327 students. The high school is centrally located in the middle of town, and there is also only one middle school, Strayer Middle School. There are 8 public elementary schools, and then there are 3 private schools in Quakertown. 88.9% of residents of Quakertown have a high school diploma or higher education. 15% of the population 25 years and older have a bachelor's degree. The median household income in Quakertown is $58,202, and the median housing value is $185,000. Over the last few years, Quakertown has seen significant increase in housing developments. The most common industry in Quakertown is the healthcare industry, and then which accounts for 11.3%. And as of March 2019, the unemployment rate in Quakertown was 3.4%, and 10.4% of individuals were below poverty level. I wasn't able to access religion information specifically for the town of Quakertown, but there are 2 charts here that show religion statistics for Bucks County, which, as I said previously, is the county where Quakertown is located, and I feel is a good representation of Quakertown as well. Approximately half of the population identifies as Catholic, followed by 31% that do not identify or affiliate with the religion. While Quakertown is a small town, there are some formal institutes that are worth noting. There is St. Luke's Hospital. Another formal institute is the Quakertown National Bank that was founded in 1877. The bank is headquartered in Quakertown, but also now has locations in surrounding counties. Another important educational institute is the Quakertown Community School District. Another formal institute I feel worth noting is the Quakertown Free Press. It was once a family-owned newspaper that reported what was happening in Quakertown. However, unfortunately, due to the internet and online news forums, the Free Press printed its last paper edition in 2009. But the building remains in the center of Quakertown, which is photographed here on this slide. The most popular and most attended church in Quakertown is the Morning Star Fellowship, which is a contemporary Christian church. And there's also many businesses in the borough of Quakertown that are family-owned and operated businesses. There are many informal institutes in Quakertown. The two tables here list the community and civic groups in town, as well as the youth sports groups. Looking briefly at the community groups, Quakertown Alive is responsible for holding regular festivals and concerts in Quakertown, most notably a Halloween parade and festivals on the 4th of July and an annual fall festival. And the youth groups offer year-round structured practices and games for children and youth in the community. The next couple of slides show some important spots in Quakertown. The top left is the high school football field, where in the fall it is common for members of the community to attend games on Friday nights. The top right is the McCool's Art Center that frequently puts on plays. And then the bottom left is the community park playground, and the bottom right is the Free Fall skate park. On this slide here, we see the Quakertown Fire Department, the Bucks County Library, as well as our town community pool. The bottom right sign is for the Upper Bucks Code Blue Shelter that gives the number and location for overnight shelters for homeless individuals. A couple years ago, the Univest Performance Center was developed by our local park that does a summer concert series and other outdoor events. According to the article, Seek the Good Community, there are 9 key elements that make for a good community. First off, a good community offers residents a safe place to live. In Quakertown, the crime rate is relatively low and below the national average. As for natural disasters, Quakertown's tornado activity is 3% greater than the U.S. average. However, the earthquake average is 87% smaller than the U.S. average. The air quality index level was 83.8, which is slightly above the U.S. average. In the 30 years that I have lived in Quakertown, I have never personally experienced a natural disaster or felt that I feel that there is adequate police force and it's overall a safe community. So I would consider Quakertown to be a safe place to live. Secondly, a good community offers access to goods and services necessary to sustain residents at a level acceptable to them. In Quakertown, there are sufficient stores and services to obtain food and clothes. There's also no violations of water stations or supplies in Quakertown. Next, a good community must have relationships of the character that bind people together. In Quakertown, there are many community events and organizations that are free to community members. This brings community members closer, and so most residents know or at a minimum are familiar with one another. And I can personally say that I know most of my neighbors. A good community also must have a commonality of values and goals that help residents pull together. Each year in Quakertown, there are festivals and parades that bring the community closer. This includes planning, organizations raising money, and the community coming together as a whole to participate in these events. There are also food pantries and shelters that are projects with the intent and value to help others. It's a place where people are treated as whole persons. Residents know people personally in Quakertown, and this is because many people are born and raised here and then have families of their own that continue to cycle. It happens, but it is rare that people leave Quakertown, and if they do, they seem to return for the familiarity. This also plays into the next element, that a good community is a place where the day-to-day relationships among residents are highly predictable. There is a community Facebook page and neighborhood watch page where if you see strange vehicles or unusual activities, people can notify one another. Um, According to the article, a good community also recognizes place within the social structure for each member. In Quakertown, people look after one another and help one another in a time of need. It's normal for the community to come together when people are in a time of need. Um, Additionally, Quakertown provides sufficient opportunities for growth and fulfillment. Quakertown was a place where the Liberty Bell was actually stored for respite in 1777. There is culture in Quakertown, a theater and parks that help to entertain individuals and provide for personal fulfillment. And lastly, a good community is one that is homogeneous enough to prevent conflict between neighbors, but heterogeneous to create some diversity. Quakertown is a suburban community located approximately 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia. While it is an alternative to urban living, the amenities associated with the urban lifestyle are easily accessible. Like any community, there is space for improvement. Since Quakertown is such a small and close knit community, while people have good intentions, it is not unusual for everyone to know each other's personal business. Additionally, residents at times tend to be closed minded and do not like change. So, in order to implement change while it does occur, it's often a slow moving process. All in all, I feel Quakertown is a good community that has shaped me into the person I am today, and I'm happy to call home.